Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BETSPERTS.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. It is Tuesday at noon, our traditional time. We record every one of our weekly podcasts to handicap the NFL in its entirety after a normal Sunday where we both got together and did the entire opening line breakdown. And there's nothing weird at all about this week. It's just a normal week 16 in an NFL season.
Just a couple of guys, chopping it up like always. And you know what? Sometimes on a normal week in a normal season, we've complained on Wednesday nights and said, hey, it's only Wednesday, guys. We have 2 more injury reports to go. We don't have all the info on this game. This podcast today will come with the ultimate in caveats. Like we just said this off the air. It is not a normal season, not a normal week. We have 2 games that haven't even been played yet. That's an eighth of the league has not even played football yet this week. We've got teams off short rest. We've got COVID stuff already. I just got a notification from my Fantasy Life app that said Tyreek Hill is now in the Kansas City protocol, along with Felton and one other player. And so, I mean, Drew, what's your let's say you're Johnny Clicks a lot. What's your first reaction with Kelsey and Hill on the protocol? What would be your first bet?
I'm probably looking at the futures market for KC.
Yeah, like there's an instant reaction. Like I should bet on the under. I should bet on Pittsburgh. I should bet against against Kansas City. I should find another AFC team to bet for the Super Bowl or to win the conference. But that's the other part. It's Tuesday, and guess what? They pulled the old. You remember at the end? Did you watch Squid Game?
No.
When they flipped the lights off on the no spoilers, but they changed the rules on us. So they changed the rules just last week. So we don't know what the rules are going to be this week. Like the reaction is, Kelsey and Hill have COVID. I need to hammer the Steelers or whatever.
Steelers are alive. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Whatever derivative of that. But at this point, I don't know fully what the rules are. And there's definitely a non-zero chance that the new rules or however they want to bend them means that Kelsey and Hill and everybody else are playing by Sunday. And you're feeling pretty foolish when it gets steamed up to 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess
no, that was why my reaction was to go look at the futures market and now you know that there's not going to be a surprise playoff game and those 2 guys are out. Like that matters positively. This is a positive development for the Kansas City.
Why is that?
What do you mean?
Because they already tested positive?
Yeah,
people test positive twice all the time.
No, but there's like a moratorium on being tested if you've gone into health and safety protocol.
I thought that went away now too.
Did it?
I think I think the testing is going to be real.
Because here's my just general philosophy is I'm kind of keeping tracks, quietly of who all is gone on the list, because my understanding was that you got like a moratorium on being tested at all. So the likelihood of you ending up back on the list after you've come off, particularly in the playoff window, is low.
No, I think you can go. I think you can just go right back in if they're going to be doing all this testing. But who knows what the testing looks like? So I guess dig into that rule. I get where you're coming with it, but I don't know if that's the rules. I think either way, tread lightly.
Okay, and I'll look into that, and they're the one give you a better answer going forward.
Yeah, and they're it does here. I think this is the answer from this fucking lunatic. This guy writes crazy shit all the time, but God bless him. He wrote something sane today. It means they would not have been tested unless they had symptoms.
Well, there are 2 ways you get tested right now under the new rules. One is you have symptoms.
Yep.
Actually 3 ways. You're unvaccinated. You're getting tested the same
all
as
the
always.
Time. Yep.
If you have symptoms, vaccinated and symptoms, you get tested. And then there's just sort of a random sampling also, as far as I could tell you. And there's some company that's in charge of picking the random players, whatever the case is. But yeah, no, realistically, like it's entirely possible, maybe even likely, that these two guys will be back for Pittsburgh on Sunday. It's entirely possible that the Chiefs get some hardship relief and don't play on Sunday and play on Tuesday.
Are
and
we
then
stealing from
back.
the NBA in that? Are we stealing hardship relief? I love that.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
It's in the common vernacular, Andy. It's in the.
What time is the Adam Silver press conference today, or when he goes on TV
or so?
I'm very excited to see what happens with that. But yeah, if you want to just like we said a little off air, this is probably going to be briefer than a normal episode because again we're sitting here, we haven't even seen Tuesday injury reports, much less Wednesday. We have 4 teams that haven't played, and we're in the midst of a shitstorm of God knows what with the rules and who's and whys. So we'll probably spin a little quicker, but we'll touch on all the games, huh?
I like that plan. Very
Cleveland,
solid.
Green Bay. I will fire it off with Cleveland, Green Bay then. And that is not the right game. We should start with San Francisco, Tennessee. For some reason, I just skipped right over Thursday.
Well,
that's
I'll
like
this
2
one
days. Okay,
so San Francisco 49ers, again, kind of one of the more perplexing teams to handicap, considering the highs and lows that they've been on throughout the year. They get the win and cover against the Falcons over the weekend, despite the Falcons having numerous opportunities in the red zone to get inside the number. They cannot get it done. San Francisco moves on, and now is a meaningful favorite on the road against current AFC South divisional leaders, Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans went through a weird season where they had a lot of their AFC foes early on in their schedule. They got up for those games. They won those games. Derrick Henry gets hurt, and A.J. Brown has been hurt, and the wheels have completely fallen off for this team. They've lost 3 of their last 4. The one win coming against the Urban Meyer, we quit on him, Jacksonville Jaguars. And then, a tough loss in Pittsburgh where they had a chance to win late in that game. Tennessee was driving. They got stopped 4th and a freaking millimeter. That's what happens when you go on the road and you play a Pittsburgh Steelers team that, again, is fighting for their lives. And Tennessee really kind of comfortably cruising, still at 9-5, looking like they're going to win their division with the 2 wins that they have head-to-head over the Indianapolis Colts. So question is, does this game matter much for Tennessee? Are they going to get up for it on a short week? Are we going to see A.J. Brown back? Is the defense as good as they showed holding the Steelers down to multiple field goals after getting advantageous turnovers? Ultimately, is this Niners team a team that needs serious consideration in an otherwise relatively winnable NFC?
We were joking around a little in one of the chats talking about Jimmy. Like he's like Carson Wentz plus. He's better than Carson Wentz, but he just does that brain fart thing where it's like, oh no, like why'd you throw that ball? And then you get the Twitter calling for like, why aren't they using Lance more? Like Jimmy G's fine. He's a fine quarterback. He makes really bad decisions sometimes, but at the same time, when everybody's healthy, and this is such a dumb thing to say because it's so obvious right in front of your face, but like when the team is healthy around him, he's a lot better. And I think that's why we've had so much trouble grasping what Jimmy G is over the last couple of years. All his important pieces have been just in and out. The running back, I mean, I'm not even go through the cavalcade of running backs he's had back there, but I mean, Kittle, very important. He's been in and out. Debo's been hurt here and there. Ayuk has missed some time. And I mean, just last year was a rookie. So, I mean, what he's been dealing with from pieces around him thing it's been kind of tough. And I think it's a good enough offensive play caller and offensive mind. If everyone's healthy and this is working, you can get an offensive performance like that. And like you said, the Falcons probably should have scored about 15 more points. That's endemic right now. Teams getting to the red zone and not scoring at all. Saw that last night. Obviously, the Washington Green Bay is etched in my mind forever. Yeah, last night was fine, but that's a full thing. So, yeah, I'm not interested in laying this many points on the road here. I am wondering why this total is a little lower than I think. If Brown plays and we see the Niners defense we saw last week, this total is probably low.
Oh yes, if Brown plays, this total is low. Period. Doesn't Niners defense irrespective?
Niners defense isn't just magically going to get better.
Yeah, although boy oh boy, has the market embraced the Nick Bosa comeback player of the year. His odds down to 3-1.
They
were 50-1 not all that long ago. The look ahead line here, we had Tennessee open up as a -1. It got bet to a pick. So people were like, yeah, okay, these teams are about equal heading into last week. All right now, this is 3.5. That's a huge adjustment on a result that was close to market in the Tennessee game and close to market in the Niners game outside of a couple turnovers and bounces. I am not sure.
The expected points. What those games with the yardage and how they went, the game script, how those games land on mean. I don't see why there should have been a big adjustment.
Yeah. Total went up from 43.5 to 44.5 from look ahead to open. That is directionally correct in my opinion. 44.5, a little bit of an edge there, but ultimately, yes, this is a Niners or pass spot. And Titans or pass spot because of the
told you right now
market overreaction. Yes.
What if I told you right now AJ Brown is out? He's out for sure.
Then I want nothing to do with this game. That's the reason to pass on the Titans.
No. But let me get to it.
Sure.
And I'll give you +5.
I don't see a ton of difference between 3.5 and 5.
No, I was not
virtually none.
That's where we're sitting at the market. We're not at a spot where it's going to cross something important.
On the other side of 3 with AJ Brown, I'm fine passing on this. On the other side of 3 with AJ in,
that's where
I'm playing Titans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's where I was trying to go with that. So I think we're in agreement there. It's Titans or pass, and
Titans pretty good. Titans defense is pretty good at stopping what San Francisco does well, for what it's worth. I don't think Titans defense is good, but they can at least their linebackers are athletic and their run stop is decent. So I think I'm talking myself into Titans. Hopefully AJ Brown goes. AJ Brown's on the practice. He was cleared to practice, which is usually he's a week away. Yeah. So
it's he's cleared. He's gonna Tuesday afternoon, today we're getting a report. He was working off on the side.
Yeah.
By himself.
What else usually happens when you're a Thursday game and you have a full 10 days of rest after? They usually just give him.
Let's give him a week.
Let's give him another extended.
Hey, guess what? We beat the Colts both times. We have a nice little cushion here. Let's get weird with it.
Yeah, really, the Tennessee Titans season comes down to winning at home against Miami on January 2nd and winning on the road against the Texans January 9th. If they win those 2 games, they finish 11-6 at the worst, and they win the AFC South. That seems doable. You sit on AJ Brown till that Dolphins.
I think you do sit on AJ Brown, so it's probably a pass for me.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, now Cleveland at Green Bay. It's sounding like Stefanski back, sounding like Baker Mayfield back. Which is that a reason to get Packers steam? But Mayfield in. Mullins is benched. Green Bay money pours in. It doesn't sound like Bakhtiari or Alexander. Probably not happening. Brown's getting markedly healthier compared to just what they put out there, but
still no skill position players in the passing game.
It's really, really tough to do it without an outside threat. Again, especially against the Packers, where you could expose them a little. Their defense has played a lot better this year. This is, manna from heaven for teaser bettors. Green Bay at home against a beat-up team in the teaser zone like this.
Yeah, I gotta say, yesterday's game, Cleveland at the hosting the Raiders, that was the most painful way to put a freaking bullet in the head of the Browns for the season that I possibly could have imagined. The fact that they came back, Donovan Peoples-Jones even made a couple plays in that game after all those drops early. Gets them back into contention. They get the 4th down touchdown. Nick Mullins is a hero. Everybody's fired up. The defense gets a pick, and they still lose. That was absolutely as painful as I possibly could have imagined. The sequence of run into the stacked box with the Browns was just like you saw it coming a mile away, and you're like, they're not really. Oh, they really are. Oh God, they did it. Oh, and now they're punting. Oh, now they're gonna lose. Okay. The tackle on the sideline, all of it was just absolutely horrific. It was gut-wrenching to watch as a fan, as a backer. It was awful. And realistically, I don't know how these guys in that locker room get up for this game. It's Christmas. Their season's over. Myles Garrett may not even be going, and he's a hugely important leader on that defensive side of the ball. Yeah, your coach is back. Yeah, Baker's back. But, who in that team is rallying around Baker, playing for him? I don't know. I don't see it. I don't think this is
I like
time
this
to
front.
buy low on the Browns.
I like this defensive front for Green Bay, the way that they're going to try to play this game without strong outside receiver presence. I mean, good. It's not a great matchup. It's on the road. Yeah, I'm not going to let what Green Bay did to me last week affect my handicap. I'm going to be fine. I think Huntley might be better than if Baker's still probably not 100% healthy. So
do we agree if we voted today that Aaron Rodgers is MVP?
Oh man, it's an ugly market, right?
It is.
Yeah, and Garrett
DPOY bets are dead. Those bets are dead.
I think
honestly, if my general assessment of the DPOY market is that there are value bets to be made on both TJ Watt and Aaron Donald. If you want to split stake those guys to cover whatever you have on Garrett, that's fine by me. I think Aaron Donald has a realistic chance, especially if he kicks ass tonight against the Seahawks, which is something he does regularly. Yeah. He looks like the best player in the NFL as far as defensive players go, and that's usually a huge element of how the award is awarded, even beyond stats. They like to give the award to the guy who is deemed the best defensive player. And that right now in a lot of people's minds is Aaron Donald. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers MVP back-to-back years. They do that. They've given him back-to-back MVPs a lot. How many MVPs did Peyton Manning win? Like 7? Yeah,
it's not that many, but
5.
He won a few. I would say I don't have a hot take on this. Like probably, but there's 3 weeks. The fact that no one's running away with it, somebody just needs to string 2 really good games together. And these are a bunch of quarterbacks who could do that sort of thing, whether it's Josh Allen, whether it's Tom Brady, whether it's Aaron Rodgers here. You string 2-3 good games together, somebody's gonna make it happen and just run away with this.
I think Green Bay is about a 40 to 50% chance right now to get the 1 seed in the NFC. That helps a ton. Aaron Rodgers has a paltry handful of interceptions. MVP voters love to look at touchdown interception ratio. Why that fucking matters, as opposed to some of the advanced stats, who knows? But the advanced stats support Aaron Rodgers' candidacy as well. The candidate I really am most excited about, though, in this game, by far, my guy, Coach of the Year, Matt LaFleur. This is a big game for him to kind of continue to clinch that 1 seed. And if the Green Bay Packers get the 1 seed, considering what he's dealt with this year, Rodgers bailing on him week 1, Rodgers then getting COVID, and then all of the injuries they've had on the defensive side of the ball. Combine that with the fact that Packers have won 13 games 2 years in a row that were largely because Aaron Rodgers was playing at an MVP level, combined with the fact that the schedule was easy. And they have had a much tougher schedule this year, and yet they may still emerge with 13, 14 wins and the 1 seed in the NFC, which is amazing and he deserves more consideration in that Coach of the Year market. So hopefully we get lots of shots of Matt LaFleur during this game, and some conversation would be nice about whether he warrants this award during the broadcast. I would appreciate that at least.
I don't know. Is this celebrity chef Laura Vitale? I don't have a lean in the Potato Bowl.
You didn't play the Wyoming Cowboys?
I said I was going to play
Throwing it over them damn mountains?
I said I was going to play it live, and instead I ended up playing Italian soccer live. And
did you see the branding? They have the baked potato with the sour cream and the chives on it. I was kind of impressed by the branding.
Love chives. I love a good loaded
sour
baked
cream
potato.
and chive baked potato.
As a man from the Midwest, I enjoy my baked potatoes.
Absolutely. Yeah, Peyton Manning, by the way, has won 5 MVPs, and he went back to back twice, 03-04 and 08-09. So there is some precedent here of giving the best quarterback in the NFL MVP in back-to-back years.
That's fair. Baked potatoes. Yeah, a baked potato sucks a baked potato is like a 1. A loaded baked potato is like an 8. You gotta get cheese.
You should give a plain baked potato a 1. I guess if the jacket's not olive oil and salted.
So yeah, you have to olive oil and salt. I make a potato skin that would knock your socks off. You'd need to bring extra socks to my house at that point. Not keto friendly, very much so. So Indy heads to the desert. This is one where the market has spoken a little, and then it came back a titch. Peyton Manning has never won the Potato Bowl. That is a good. You can't spell citrus without UT though. Colts are plus 1.5 here. The total 49. The Cardinals obviously coming off a bit of a stinker, huh? I don't know if stinker is the right word for that. There's a super stinker, and the Colts are coming off a high. If you want to be the guy who just bets on teams who are probably high on their market, low on their market, the Cardinals are for you. And truthfully, I think the Cardinals are for me, just power number wise, being at home, but I don't know if it was just a low spot or if Hopkins matters that much to what this offense is deciding to do. The offense looked just ugly. Like there was big lapses and like, oh my God, what is the plan here? This is the Lions. What is the plan, you guys? Just have any semblance of an NFL level plan and go at least match them score for score, be in the game. They were never even in the game. It was a tough hang is what it was. So it's probably Cardinals for me, and I'm cheering for the Colts. So there may be a spot here if the Colts come out and look good. I'll probably take a little live Cardinals as a bit of a hedge because I have some Colts futures that would be awful happy with a road win here.
Okay. In the same sense that I see this as we were talking about Tennessee or pass because of the way that market got, neck breaking reaction to 1 week's results. This is the same sort of deal. Arizona was going to be outside of a field goal, and now they're a pick 'em at a lot of spots.
Yeah.
That's a big adjustment in 1 week, considering that there really weren't a ton of players that are changing availability in this contest. The Colts are still because of the vacuum of good teams in the AFC and the fact that it looked like the Chiefs might not get the one for a lot of weeks, it was fun to kind of kick around who in the AFC is going to be tough. And the Colts were the easy, obvious look because they were getting things done physically. Oh, nice job, UB. Juve. I like Juve. Juve. The general feeling, though, about the Colts being like a contender now, I think has gotten a little bit out of control. The Colts still have some defensive questions, the way they scheme. I mean, they played up against the Pats, but that was obvious. That was a great spot for them. Now you got to go on the road and do it against Kyler Murray, who's a lot more dynamic in terms of an athlete. The
Colts aren't even good. Like the Colts are just this team who's put together. They have a weird. It's a weird collection of players that works because they play defense. If they're behind, they can absolutely stop the run and get the ball back.
True.
If they're ahead, they can run the ball, certainly. If they're not behind, if they're not ahead, if it's just a neutral state, their offense works. Like just what they do works. And for some reason, somehow, like Carson Wentz is not giving away games right now. That's what this team. This team was always going to be. This
feels unsustainable. By the way,
this team was always going to be like an 8-8 team, maybe a little worse because Carson Wentz was going to piss away 3 games where it's like, oh my God, that pick just sealed it. Like they were driving, they were in field goal range, he threw a pick. Like that's what happens. So I mean, if you want to bet on that being sustainable, I would take a future rather than do it week to week. Because if it is, it's fine, whatever. And that's what I did. So
especially considering where this market is this moment.
And like you said, I'd have this.
You're late to the
Cardinals
party.
-3.
Yeah, you're late to the party if you're feeling bullish about the Colts right now. Sorry.
I made an adjustment, and I think that's where the market adjustment came. I think they said, Jesus, maybe this offense isn't that good without Hopkins, and maybe they don't have a plan right now.
Maybe.
And I think that adjustment's wrong.
Yeah,
I think the Cardinals are the right side, and you should lay the 3. But
okay. So looks like Papa, you got if you have an Indy plus 4.5, I'm sitting tight. I mean, obviously, you don't want to get caught with a COVID surprise and lose all that CLV if, Jonathan Taylor doesn't suit up or something. But ultimately, Well, the market would move on if there was a COVID rip through that locker room. But yeah, I think realistically, I would just sit tight on that. That was a good bet by you. Realistically, the and again, like I see Arizona winning by like 3 points in this one. I could see the Colts winning by 3 equally as well.
That's my fear is I bet this, and the worst case scenario for me would be Cardinals win by 1. Like I would be in I would be in very big trouble.
Well, you can find some picks by now. Like the fact that the market is.
This is where I think this it's either the chef or it's some sort of person who's posing as the chef. I would like to try her gratin. I love all gratin potatoes.
I was actually looking for a good potato recipe because we have some holiday stuff coming up.
Check out our partner chef's website page, YouTube page, Laura Vitale.
Is it Vital or Vitale?
I want to say Vital because of Dick Vitale.
Food Network.
But
star?
I also I'm betting this Italian soccer, so I have a bit of a flair to my letters right now. Like Genoa.
Yeah.
Atalanta. Well, what's her full name?
Laura Vitale. She was born Laura Pietrangeli from Naples, Italy. She was born in Naples, Italy. That was a tough one, man. Pietrangeli.
Is that the northern part of Italy?
Naples? Yeah. No, Naples is like that's Mount Vesuvius. That's southern
What am I
Italy.
thinking? What's the northern city?
Milan.
Venice.
Milan. But Venice is on the Adriatic side. Milan is sort of the hub in the north.
I just saw the Sopranos episode with the Columbus Day one, where Fabio or whatever. Who's the guy with the long hair? Boy, it's been too long. I just thought it up. He gets all mad about the northern Italians. Anyway, we digress. Tampa is taking on Carolina this week in the NFL. And these are two teams headed in opposite directions, despite the fact that Tampa lost a real ugly game. Boy, themes. Tampa and Arizona, not that different. They were double-digit favorites. I don't want to say never in it, because it was a long time until they were behind by more than a touchdown. Furio, thank you.
Furio.
What the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah,
Furio.
Wow. I knew it wasn't right, but I wasn't going to
I know, I couldn't
correct
think
you.
of it.
I was going to let you just swing in the wind
my
there.
own grave there.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like Tampa was just never out of this game. They were within a touchdown for 45 minutes, and I don't understand why they couldn't get it going. It was maddening. I had Saints plus 11. I guess I was more mad that the Saints couldn't score a couple more points.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
And make this so it wasn't such a game that
just grinds
a game that I had to sweat at all. I mean, we were out there with being 3 scores ahead is fine, but 4 is better. So Tampa. I mean, what was your big takeaway from Tampa in that game?
They got absolutely effed in the injury department. Thunder effed. Their injury luck. They had some injury luck last year, late in the season, where they were getting guys back after it looked like meaningful injuries. Vita Vea, Mike Evans, like those, big Marpet, big names. Guys came back and they were healthy and helped them go on that run. And now they are going to be staring at the exact same problem, but maybe worse injuries. Like Godwin ain't coming back. That's an ACL. That sucks.
No. But let's say before the injuries started piling up,
sure.
I mean, we just.
Why didn't it look good? Well,
we just didn't see a strong start. They never.
It never has.
Just something.
Andy, how many times though? Like Tampa in prime time, Tampa versus the Saints. Like they're both in both cases. It just hasn't looked good, and it's tough to tell why. It's tough to really have a good answer. All credit in the world to Bruce Arians. He seems like a lovely human being. I don't think he's a great coach. I don't think he's getting these guys prepped for these games the way he could, or they're coming in with a little bit of a just some shade in terms of that believing in how they match up with some of these teams. I don't really know, man. It's tough. To get shut out was crazy.
Crazy, isn't it? I don't have a strong take in this game, and obviously the injuries are a huge deal now. But I did want to make a quick note on the Bruce Arians comments about Brown, where the people question him about bringing him back after the shenanigans with the vaccine card. What did the people in the media expect? They're fully fine with him being under suspicion and investigation for like sexual assault, and they're going to put him on the team, but like fudging some paperwork around your health. That's the line we're going to draw. Like, what was that guy thinking? And yeah, you get the response you expect from Bruce Arians. I don't give a shit what you think about this. Yeah, he's paid to win football games. I think he's drawn a nice line in the sand and how he feels about, this guy's on my team. I don't care. Like, for now, he's not in jail. He's not in trouble. He's on the team, and they're going to need it now.
They desperately will.
They desperately need him to step up, which is
Gronk didn't look great in that game. Honestly, the Bucs offense, and this was the same. This was the same for the Patriots down the stretch with Brady. Like, the Bucs offense goes as Brady goes, and Brady rolls out of bed in these late games, and sometimes he's not as sharp. Brady rolls out of games against the Saints, and he's not as sharp. Something about the way that the Saints coordinated their defense, like from Jump Street, Brady was throwing balls that were like, oh, that could have been picked. Why did he throw that? Why is he going there? What is going on here? Like, it was just like deja vu all over again. Last time you saw him play those Saints defense, like, he just can't do it. And I would say the exact opposite against Carolina. Like, he's going to utterly shred these guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Brady has 4 or 5 touchdowns in this game. Like, he always looks good against Carolina's defense. Always looks good against Carolina in general. Cam Newton, come on. He's going score for score with Brady here? No way. This is lay the points or pass.
Yeah, it's lay it or pass, and I'm not laying it. Funny story, because this will take 5 seconds. I had a friend who will remain nameless who bet the wrong side of a game today. Meant to bet one side, bet the other side, ended up losing. I am the guy who does the opposite. I tried to bet the first half over half a goal in the Juve match and in the Genoa at Atalanta match. I thought I'd switch screens, ended up just betting the first half over twice in Juve. Juve went to halftime 1-0, won. Atalanta 0-0. They were both plus money, like right at even. So I would have broke even, but instead I won twice as much as I thought I did. So I feel like the gambling gods are with us this week, and I should probably roll that all over onto Atalanta second half.
All right. Well, if you didn't already know, Andy is a masterful degenerate when it comes to midweek Euro footy. Live betting, especially. He's got a couple of systems that are very good. That
is debatable. Good enough to keep me out of the pool.
I'm just sad for you that there may not be EPL on Boxing Day. Are you nervous? Are you sad?
Joking aside, I actually do enjoy having a whole slate of games.
I'm not joking.
The fact that it was going to fall on a Sunday with the NFL Sunday and a Boxing Day of EPL, it would have been a crazy good day for betting football, both kinds of football. Speaking of not good football, the Giants will take on Philly. The Giants are a mess. I think here's the thing about the Giants. I think any one of you assholes out there, and I'm looking right at you guys who are still blaming the boat photo for the Giants, are in the wrong right now. We have fully pivoted. It is now the curse of the medium soda. They will never win again after that shit. They treated their fans. They have so much. The Mars are richer than God.
Koala. The medium. Oh my God, the medium soda thing was absolutely hysterical. That was hysterical.
Love this guy in Aladdin.
Yeah, Garrett Gilbert. He was incredible. Or Dan. Was Dan Weir in Aladdin? Oh
no, he was the parrot.
Oh, okay.
Garrett Gilbert was a Orlando Apollo, by the way.
That's right.
The Giants just they're shut down. You shut down your quarterback for the year. You're on Glennon. Glennon hasn't won a game since like 2014. He's made a lot of money in the process. Like, do you want to lay 10 with the Eagles? if you want to do that, I would just lay the team total over on the Eagles. Like they're going to be able to run on this team. It's going to be a slow. You see the total; it's 42.
Yeah.
If this were a 10.5, I'd think about using Eagles and teasers. I think they win this game, but it's a big ask for a lower level team to beat anybody by 10. And I don't consider the Eagles all that good. Although if they get it done tonight, which this is tough. We're talking about a team who hasn't played yet this week.
If you can't beat Gilbert Godfrey at home without an offensive line, then you don't deserve to be in the
aristocrats.
If you can't beat the Affleck duck behind a makeshift offensive line in a game that the opposing team was disrupted in terms of their preparation all week, then you don't deserve to go to the playoffs.
So if the Eagles win tonight and they beat the Giants when they're meaningful favorites over both, they're in a pretty nice spot despite Minnesota getting the win today and the surprise win by the Saints. It'll be a dogfight. One of those shithole teams, Minnesota, New Orleans, or Philly, is probably going to be in the playoffs.
Surprisingly, Philly's playoff probability right now is only like 30-ish%. I don't know why it's not higher. Do they not have the tiebreaker with the Vikings, or maybe it's just because they haven't played this week's game yet? Once they're 7-7, that's probably going to go up. Okay.
Yeah, I think anything could happen. Like Hurts could tear his knee on the first play, and I guess you have a decent backup.
Then it's the Gardner Minshew show.
Yeah, it's not like a bad backup.
Gardner Minshew show leads all quarterbacks who have had at least 30 snaps this year in EPA per play. How about that?
He had a nice game. I don't think that's super repeatable, but you know who else had a nice game? Mike White.
That's true. That's true. Gardner Minshew's adjusted EPA per play. You want to guess what it is this season?
1.1.
0.556.
I thought it would be something ridiculous. I didn't remember how many plays.
It's insane.
It's still very high.
It's insanely high. The next highest is Aaron Rodgers with 0.275. So he is doubling up Aaron Rodgers.
Every time he takes the ball, you can add a half a point.
I love
the
it.
Score, which is
I
a
love
lot.
it.
Say shit, like you said, Rodgers is about a quarter point.
They should snap the ball to him more.
Yeah. I mean, like, why are you trying to convert second downs? Like when you can get an extra play out of third down and add to that APA. I'm not betting this game, especially since the fact that we haven't seen the Eagles play yet this week. If you want to bet ahead of time in this one, I wish you luck. I don't think it's going to move significantly in either direction. The Eagles are fully healthy with a shitload of good running backs, a couple decent tight ends. The receiving core is serviceable, and the quarterback, when healthy, is a threat to run. It's a fun little offense. It's a decent defensive line, and they are probably very live for the 7th seed.
I'm just excited to see the New York Giants blow it all up and start all over again with another general manager and coach hire that is inadequate and another quarterback draft that's a reach, because that's where this is trending. I don't know that, and much has changed with the Giants at the top. So,
but congrats to the Eagles for getting another pick. Wentz now has started enough games that they get their draft pick. So I wasn't so sure that was going to happen in the beginning of the season.
That's a good point. Let's move on.
It was a decent trade in the long run, likely.
Hey, let me ask you about this.
Clippers,
The
Rockets.
Clippers should have a decent edge here on the Rockets. Although the Rockets have been playing better as of late. Your Bulls absolutely throttled them last night. They walked into a buzzsaw that is the Chicago Bulls this season. No, in seriousness, the Chargers, this is a funny market, and I want to ask your opinion. When you look across the board and you see the circle was hanging 8 this morning here, and they were leading the market down in favor of Houston. And I was like, whoa, oh, wow. Usually when you see that, everybody else eventually has kind of trickled down as well over the course of a Tuesday. That did not happen this week. Circa ultimately caved to the will of the offshores and went up to 9.5 here for the Chargers versus the Texans. Is this a game that's drawing meaningful handle? People have real opinions about this one way or the other, or do you think that was just a weird, bizarre quirk?
I think that was probably just a little hiccup in the market, and do you really think it didn't move through anything meaningful?
Well, eight's
kind of,
nothing.
but the limits aren't high. That's the thing too. We got to realize we're a day earlier. The limits are still down. We're not at full limit up here. So I guess it was probably some posturing by some people. But you're still, I mean, eight's meaningful. It's not as meaningful as some of the lower numbers you get to, but I can see why the Chargers buyback happened. It's a better team and they're getting healthy. The Chargers probably should have won the game last week. And now they got to grind for this wild card. The posturing and positioning for the AFC wild cards is going to be a whole damn thing. Can the Texans run on this team? The Texans getting some first downs on the ground will keep them inside this number.
Yeah, they probably will run on this team.
Yeah, if I had to bet this, I'd bet the Texans.
Yeah, same.
Which that might end up on my ticket, which doesn't feel great.
Chargers. When's the last time the Chargers went into a matchup where they were clearly the better team? They were laying a bunch of chalk, and they actually then took care of business like comfortably. I don't feel like that's happened a lot this year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, AFC title game, 1995.
It's been a while.
Put Neil O'Donnell's Pittsburgh Steelers right in their place.
I guess they did it to the Giants. They hosted the Giants, and they were huge favorites, and they just absolutely pounded them. That was actually kind of the only big margin win that the Chargers had over a. The Chargers just haven't played very many bad teams. They've played a lot of really decent teams. Their schedule has just been a murderer's row. They're finally getting some soft stuff now here at the tail end. But they've had one of the tougher schedules in the NFL this season. All right. Well, I don't have a problem if you want to take especially if you get a 10.5. Win has 10.5 right now. They'll get you outside touchdown and field goal.
I'm bowdy.
Well, there's still some injuries, some issues going on with are there some issues or anything going on with the skill position players for the Chargers? Keenan Allen came back, but he got hurt. Did he finish that game?
Every single player that was a receiver for my Chargers got hurt during that game, including a scary one with Donald Parham, who looks like he's going to be okay. I don't think he plays this week. He's spent a little too much time in the hospital to be just bouncing back and playing. But I think he'll probably be sidelined maybe for the rest of the year. Who knows how bad that head injury was? Concussions, they we joke around the league, just kind of making their own rules, but they do seem to take concussions kind of seriously, especially one that everybody saw.
What? There were Chargers injuries that mattered. Bosa's going to be COVID out. Derwin James came out of that game. That's
what I was the Bosa vaccine thing. Like Bosa's, they've said they're not vaccinated. Like he's going to have to miss this game, right? Like the timeline doesn't match up for him to play.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
So the receiver's probably back, but apparently very fragile.
Yeah. All right. Well, over 47.5 worth the sniff. It's not going to have weather.
What do you Texans get to
20?
Yeah, the Texans would have to get to 20. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with that over then.
Let's see. I'm looking at a team total of 17.5 for the Texans, so they got to get to
28.
Davis Mills has done a good job of getting garbage time points in games where they were getting their asses.
He ain't no quitter. I'm going to look at a second half over in this one.
All right, let's consider. Let's put that on the back burner. Let's move it down to Detroit, Atlanta. So Lions got a second win. Congratulations! Beat the shit out of the formerly we believe to be the best in the NFC Arizona Cardinals. And then Jared Goff got COVID. Now you got to go on the road and play an Atlanta team. Coming off of the high of a huge win. Absolutely brutal spot to get involved with the Lions here. Market initially was warm on them, moving them into a 4.5-ish, 4-point dog before the Jared Goff COVID news pushed this back out to 6. Don't know if this is going to be David Blau time or if this is Tim Boyle time or if Goff ultimately clears COVID protocols and starts. It could be any of the three. But either way, this is an easy game not to bet on.
This game, just looking at these franchises makes me want to go buy a couple toys and donate them to Toys to Tots or whatever. just the Lions forever, and then the Falcons this year have been. Matt Ryan's had a couple of good games, which has driven me nuts because Pitts is a weapon. He's a wagon, man. Cordarrelle Patterson, they've got something out of him that nobody could get out of him for a decade, and we still have these stinkers. And it's a new coaching staff. It's an aging quarterback. It's a spot where you lost at this point. You lost your two top receivers from last year. One of them's a Hall of Famer. The other one is very, very good. And yeah, it's kind of like the Browns. If you don't have good outside receivers, you're not playing Vanderbilt. You can't just, I don't care if there's 5 guys covering Pitts. We're going to throw it to him anyway, and he's just going to go get it. Like, who was the team that played football yesterday? Old Dominion tried this. Hey, we have a really big tight end. Right. Let's just try to throw it to him no matter what. Didn't work. They didn't win. What. They didn't cover. Thanks for coming out, Old Dominion. So, yeah, shit don't work.
ODU.
The Lions without Goff, though. Goff, we can tease him all we want. He's a little lower than middle of the pack quarterback, which is better than some teams have. But no Goff, Swift, Hawkinson, all the injuries. I don't know how that happened last week. Things like that happen. Woof. Yeah, Five Below. I just got introduced to Five Below. I didn't know what this was. My daughter's in love with it because she's broke. She's 10. She doesn't have any money, so she loves Five Below. It's nice. It's like a fancy dollar store.
Ooh.
Because dollar stores don't have anything good, but this is stuff that's like $5.
I'm going to support Toys for Tots today. You inceptioned me. I'm going to go do.
I'm going to Costco, so I might as well buy a toy or two. Everybody should do some toys for tots, and
I like it. We support toys and tots here. Very cool. The game not going to be bet on for me. Let's move on to Baltimore, Cincinnati. I did make a bet on this game, and it was to the over. And I am carefully following the Ravens injury report, kind of hoping that it's Huntley and not Lamar.
I'm with you.
Is that weird?
No, an injured Lamar is not as versatile right now as Huntley is. And this happens. We made fun of Mike White. We might be in the same boat where it's like, oh no, they have film on him now. He stinks again. Oh yeah, it's Tyler Huntley. But still, I think he can do a little. And this total being under 45, I'm kind of in agreement with you there. I think the Ravens are probably live to win this game.
Okay, so that's where I was at. That's exactly what I was going to ask you. So I've heard some smart folks kind of talk up the Ravens this week, and I've just kind of been listening. Oh, okay, all right. They have no cornerbacks, and they're playing a team that has excellent wide receivers and hasn't played up in a few weeks. Like this is a really, really nice matchup for the Bengals passing offense. And then on the flip side, there are some things I'm concerned about if it's Lamar out there and he's, kind of a dead duck in the pocket and the offensive line is falling apart for Baltimore. The Bengals defense is going to get after him in the pass rush. Now, if they can pass block and Lamar or Huntley can kind of operate the offense, then yeah, Mark Andrews, great matchup. Hollywood Brown, great matchup. Like this team should get it done through the air, and this should be a score for score, high intensity kind of a deal. What's the case to be made for the backing the Ravens here as a dog that I'm missing? Because I didn't bet either way.
No, and you have a good point. Like I think the Ravens, just a shitty coach, like Zach Taylor being a really shitty coach, I guess. So we saw a good coach with a great quarterback decide that for a good portion of the first half, they weren't going to attack the lack of, it was no surprise that Mike Zimmer did it against a team missing a bunch of corners, but to see LaFleur just kind of not go with a game plan where they should just absolutely expose, the weakness that came of a cluster injury was something. And granted, they got there in the second half. They didn't cover because they just let them get in the back door in the garbage time, which happens sometimes. But Zach Taylor, with arguably a better receiving core than Green Bay. That's not arguably. It's a better receiving core than Green Bay, especially if you throw in Uzomah. And, a young, poised quarterback going up against it's the fly in the ointment there is a bad offensive line versus a team who can bring some unique blitzes, who can get pressure sometimes with just 4. So I don't love that aspect of it, but if they decide to not attack that because they have a shitty coach, I'm worried that the Ravens win this game, and the Bengals, this is massive for the division, obviously. So I agree with the over. I don't want to get involved in either side because I can see like the Bengals are the right side if they were well coached and they had a well thought out game plan. Just don't think I can get that from Zach.
Okay. That's not crazy. It's not crazy at all. I like in general. I guess there's in the back of my head, the Ravens have had close cardiac finishes now. How many weeks in a row?
Couple,
like
7.
all of them feels like. The Ravens have come down to the wire week in, week out, so many weeks now. That's got to wear on them a bit. They lost to the Packers by not converting the 2-point conversion. They lost to the Browns by not getting the field goal on the last possession. They lost to the Steelers by not converting the 2-point conversion. It has been, and then before that, they had a wild win versus the Browns, a wild win versus the Bears, and then an ugly primetime loss to the Dolphins, an overtime win versus the Vikings. You have to go back pre-bye week where they got thumped by the Bengals to find a game that wasn't decided in the closing moments by some fluky stuff. That can wear a team down a little bit, playing that hard for that many minutes. No comfortable wins, I'm a little nervous that we've seen the best of the Ravens and that it's just a fizzle out from here for them, which would be insane if they were 8-3 and ultimately missed the playoffs, which is kind of where they're trending.
Well, rough scenes for them. So yeah, I agree with them. The over. I can't get in bed with the side. Rams and Vikings are a game where the Vikes just played a very odd game, for being honest. And the Rams have yet to play. Rams are getting healthy. They're up to. Do you think anyone will tease the Rams and the Falcons or the Eagles tonight?
I think a lot of people will.
I think maybe everyone will.
I think quite a few will. Philadelphia's out to 9.5 though, so I don't know if they're teasable anymore.
I mean, is that going to stop people?
No, but no big money teasers are going to come.
Oh no, I mean just like everybody in the
gambling
sense
sphere.
of
Sure.
Everybody's doing all the if everyone is jumping off a bridge,
everybody's doing
everybody in the club betting teasers.
Yeah.
Again, we made a case for this over. I made a case for the over in the Bears-Vikings game. Ended up just going with some Vikes first half. I can't imagine how mad I would have been if I actually felt an overwhelming sense of relief and joy knowing I had thought about betting an over in the game last night and I didn't do it. Because the over,
and then in fact we went hard the other way at halftime. Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, the over probably deserved at least a sniff. It deserved to be close. The total deserved to be
about 43 points in that game.
The Bears had 370 yards. It comes out to the Bears should have scored 24 points. And if not for a little bit of a fluky touchdown to the 4th string tight end on the last play of the game, they would have ended with 3. The game barely clipped 20. Sorry, Weingartner.
Yeah, that was tough.
So again, the case for the over is there. If the Rams are healthy, I think we've seen teams that have decent offenses be very successful against the Rams defense. But I mean, are we trusting Mike Zimmer ever? So I'm hard pass on this, especially with the Rams not having played yet.
Speaking of crazy wild outcome scores, outliers, what was no touchdown score prop for that Saints Bucks game?
I mean, rough. Usually those are.
Did you see 50 to 1?
No, I mean they range from 80 to 1 to 200 to 1.
That one had to be big, right?
But I mean, when the total is above 50, that total was above 50, right? I'm trying to remember.
I believe it was.
So when a total is above 50 like that, it's usually triple digits, Like you could probably 150 to 1.
It was 46.
46?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what that total was.
I couldn't either.
Sam Lipscomb says he saw 180 to 1. Wow. Yeah, 100 to 1. Yeah, like I said, somewhere between 80 and 200. This guy
was that the only NFL game so far this season that had no touchdown scored? Yeah. But it was the second 9-0 final in the last 3 years. The first being the very memorable.
Oh, the 10-point favorites, Niners.
Winning 9-0. Niners winning 9-0 at Washington.
Against Sam Lipscomb's Washington football team.
Yep.
I believe they were the Redskins back then. That was a funny game. They did not score a single point, yet they covered.
Yeah.
Woof. So yeah, I'm hard passing this game, but the Rams are getting healthy. Rams are going to need tonight. The Rams are going to need this one to keep pace. And
I hope the Seahawks win tonight. And not for anyone bet the teaser. Sorry, you bet the teaser. I hope the Seahawks win tonight, and then this is like a pick-em-ish kind of game, and we can bet the Rams.
Agreed.
All right, let's keep going. Jets, Jags is going to happen. They're going to play this game
that they're going to play. This is
Jaguars,
like if this were
2-point dogs.
If this were men's league softball, these have been two teams that like just called like, hey, we like
it was 9-6, and we
here's the final score, and they never play the game. This is a rough hang. Trevor Lawrence has been worse the second half of the season somehow, and the Jets just continued to not have a roster essentially. They have two really, really underperforming rookie quarterbacks. And, you got to go play up in the Meadowlands.
You know what's a better game than this game? The Idaho Potato Bowl. Wyoming matriculated the ball down the field. Got a hard-fought touchdown. Kickoff, and Kent State flashes, just the golden flashes. One play, 80-yard pass.
What the live total is asking for a friend? 67. Bang. Live total of 67, and the folks in where would this match even be? I suppose if it's
which match are you talking about?
It's in Calcio at the Atalanta match. I'm trying to think of the name of the actual town where Atalanta plays. Rainy, high 30s in East Rutherford. How much would you have?
No, they're playing at Stadio Luigi Ferraris in Genoa.
Oh, it is in Genoa. Why is BetOnline listing it that way? They list it the European way. Oh, Luigi Ferrari's place.
Yeah, that's right.
Bergamo. Deadlocked in Bergamo. Wait till I chase Ferrari with you over half.
Luigi Ferraris. Also known as
name.
The Marassi, from the name of the neighborhood where it is located. How about that?
Obviously. Bergamo, Calcio.
You ever been to Genoa?
I've been to Italy. I don't remember where we were.
Genoa is kind
of weird over there, dude. You drive like 2 hours and you're in a different country. So weird. Like one time I didn't even realize like, oh no, we're in Switzerland. What?
Huh?
Well, that's what those mountains were. Oh, fair.
Genoa was beautiful.
Are we just trying to avoid talking about this game?
Yeah, let's keep moving. I have nothing to say. All right, here we go. Let's dig our teeth in here. And
this is a good one.
Let me set the table for you here.
Oh, it's easy for you to say.
Bill Belichick is on a scale of 0 to 10 is how washed in terms of in-game decision making?
13. And then he apologized. He apologized to, like, it's not him anymore. This is full Manchurian candidate situation here. It's not him. Like, he apologized to reporters. He's lost the edge. I don't think the Patriots ever win again. I think he's done after this year. And I am so jacked for this game. I'm very, very pumped for this game. I think seeing it played under normal weather conditions should be fun. Oh, it's not like that last game wasn't fun. And I like quirky games like that. It's enjoyable. Like, are you seriously just going to run the ball 900 times? I guess.
Quirky is the right way to put it.
Quirky is a true one. Patriots a short home favorite, total 44. As much as we talked about one coach, I want to talk about the other. That was my biggest takeaway from the first matchup of these two teams. I was a little sketched out by what Buffalo threw out there as a game plan, along with the in-game adjustments. Like, hey, look at this big-armed brute from Wyoming. Just let him do that. He's crushing it right now. It doesn't matter how windy it is. Keep letting him throw the short to intermediate stuff. It's always working. As long as they're not dropping it, you're moving the ball. So, and then this is the question that I had anyway. Papa nailed it for me. Is it better to bet Buffalo money line or Buffalo 130 for the division?
Division, without question. I don't think Buffalo's has a realistic chance of dropping either of their final two. You want to know something? You want to know something crazy, Andy?
I do, always.
You want to know what the wind is calling? What the weather's calling for?
11 to 14.
Where are you seeing that?
I just made that up.
I'm seeing 22-mile-an-hour wind gusts up to 27. I'm not kidding. The wind is going to be in the 20s.
Do you and Tyler Bass is good, but do you sign Vinatieri just as like an intimidation tactic? I think he's probably done.
No, yeah.
The NBA's doing it.
They're bringing guys back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the wind could be a serious issue here. Could be a second wind game between these two guys. God damn. And it's really a shame because a neutral weather game between these two teams sings to the over. Ultimately, I've cooled my Jets on that a decent amount in the last 24 hours because the health and health status of a lot of these wide receivers, skill position players for the Patriots doesn't look good. They may, weather aside, they may not have a choice but to lean pretty heavily on the Ramondre Stevenson, Brandon Bolden experience. Right now, Damian Harris is out, JJ Taylor's out, so they only have those two guys. I'm looking at unlikely to see N'Keal Harry, unlikely to see Nelson Aguilar, will not see Kendrick Bourne. That means that your healthy wide receivers in this contest are Jacoby Myers and Gunnar Olszewicz and Matthew Slater, of course, because Matthew Slater is a very important wide receiver for the Patriots, who always deserves a roster spot because of his contributions on special teams.
They sound like I don't know what they sound like. They don't sound like people who play football.
Well, it's going to be a lot of Hunter Henry, a lot of Johnny Smith, and a lot of running the ball here. And realistically, this is that's not a great. If you try to run out the same exact one-dimensional offense that you did 3 weeks ago against the Bills, it's not going to work twice. I would be shocked if it does. Maybe it does, but it's usually you need to have some wrinkles, some nuance, something new. Then second time you play your divisional opponent, if you expect to have a different result, or if you expect to have a similar outcome. Ultimately, I think the Patriots defense and the Bills defense are both overrated because they have both played really, really soft schedules this year and have played opposing quarterbacks who are poor and or in bad situations. So I think we may not ever capture a way to value bet that, and that's fine. But realistically, I think Buffalo gets it done. I played them on the money line. What say you, Andy?
Yeah, and I agree with what Papa Calls brought up. I would play the division here. Yeah, and I already have some division.
I have
but
a lot
think,
already.
I think there's some value. Yeah, I have some to win the division at minus 140. So I'm not excited about adding a bunch, but I do think there's some value to be had there. So I'm going to add some, maybe just a little half unit or something.
Ooh,
Take it easy on this. All right.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
Oh,
what about the matchup itself exactly? Did you see anything real quick before moving on from Buffalo? Did you see anything from Josh Allen of late that tells you that he's got things figured out? He's got things turning around, either the game against the Buccaneers second half or the game against the Carolina Panthers where they were pretty clean?
No, I blame coaching a lot more than anything he did. I thought he was fine. He's healthy, and I thought he was fine. I blame the game planning, play sequencing, play calling, and the overall plan.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
The Bears looked real stupid yesterday. They got to the red zone 30 times. Ended up with 9 points. Some of those coming in the seconds after the game had actually ended, I guess. The seconds of 0-0-0. They didn't even kick an extra point, and people were confused about that. They will not. They are not compelled to kick an extra point if the game is not in the balance. So that is why you're +7 tickets. God bless them. They deserved a lot better. +7 was the right side.
Oh, without question. Yeah.
Without any question. So pour out a little Gatorade for you.
80-something yards passing for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he went full winds on their ass, which is hilarious.
My God. Yeah.
The Seahawks, this is another rough one. Seahawks are probably eliminated after tonight if they lose. Maybe not mathematically, but deep dive eliminated. Common sense eliminated, being 9 losses on the season.
Yeah, under 10% probability.
Yeah, the Bears are deep dive eliminated already. I'm not sure what they have to play for going on the road here. The defense for the Seahawks has been a little suspect here and there. Coverage is rough. Maybe the Bears are able to move a little here. If I had to bet this, it would probably be the Bears, and that means I'm not betting this game.
I have the Seahawks as having the 18th best defense in the NFL.
Yeah,
and the Bears. But let's not mistake quality for effort last night. They tried their asses off last night. That
I haven't
defense
seen a coach
especially. They played
that animated
so hard.
Ever.
They are not good. And they're missing a million pieces, and now there's really no incentive to rush anyone back. This should be one-way traffic Seattle, but Seattle is not a team that really,
they don't do one-way traffic.
They don't do one-way traffic. They let every team back into it. Yeah. So this total is probably too low at 44. I could see, but again, let's go get involved with the Bears team that couldn't score against the Vikings, even with 8 red zone opportunities. And a blocked punt to boot. They still could score only 3 points until regulation.
It's just because it got brought up in the chat. Buffalo at +1.5 with a low total and some wind. Probably a pretty nice teaser leg. That might be the one that I go with.
I like that one.
Green Bay, Buffalo. 2 working class cities known for their cuisine and women. Let's go. That's a nice little money, or that's a nice little teaser.
Cheese curds and buffalo wings. God, better believe they're known for their cuisine.
This is true. I love cheese curds, honestly, though. Wisconsin's a fine state. I used to live there. Not a lot to say here. Seattle with the lead isn't great. They want to run the ball. They're not going to be great at it. And Chicago, despite all their missing pieces, is still decent up front. So Seattle with a lead is probably an overlook. And with that said, I might live bet this one. I might just not watch it at all. It's in the late window when I could instead be watching Pittsburgh KC. Oof, that's something. That's something that's going to be on TV.
Yeah. Also, yes. I guess more fun prediction market here would be: do Hill and Kelsey make it back in time for KC to have full strength? I'm guessing no. I think this is probably going to be a KC -3 close without their top 2 most important skill position players at a minimum. And then Pittsburgh really continues to catch the positive end of variance a lot this season. The Steelers team has had a lot of game-winning drives, a lot of bounces. Ball has bounced their way a ton this year. And it was happening all day Sunday with the turnovers, fluky stuff. That just seems unsustainable, but yet Pittsburgh manages to do it year in, year out. Mike Tomlin looks like he's on his way to another season where he won't have a losing record, which is amazing. And realistically, I have no interest in betting them against the Chiefs, even though they fit the rubric of you're getting a bunch of points, at least right now you are, and the Chiefs and the Steelers are not the Raiders. The Steelers don't run myopic defense that the Pat Mahomes is going to be able to really get the best of. So decent chance for the Steelers not to end their season in Kansas City, but at the same time, Kansas City is absolutely feeling themselves right now.
Off the board, most places as we record, just based off missing 2, which will be super funny because I have a fantasy football team nobody gives a shit about that has Kelsey and Hill on the same team. I maneuvered on. I was full.
You have Mahomes too, right?
No, Rodgers is on that team.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
I full Kevin Costner draft day maneuvered, traded a bunch of players, got Kelsey and Hill on the same team. Excuse me, swallowed some water wrong. So obviously they went off, but I'm in a bye week. So I not only that, I have my third receiver is Brandon Cooks, who also had a massive week. So I think I scored the most points I've scored all year in the bye week. And now I'll get to this next week, and Kelsey and Hill will be coveted. It'll be a sad, sad day at the Molitor household. The fantasy teams are going to go down, and yeah, I'm excited to watch this. But again, how are we supposed to comment too much about this without knowing, like, if they're vaxxed, they might be vaxxed. If they're not, they might be out. I would think this moves down to, I think 3 is a bridge too far, Drew. I think it moves down to like 5. Still just receivers.
Yeah,
it's a cluster injury, and they're important.
It's a cluster injury, and also it's cross potential.
7, 6,
yeah,
4.
I mean, I'm envisioning if it's gone from Kelsey to Hill, then the likelihood that there are other names that pop up this week, I think, is pretty high.
And so the last report, like I said, it popped up. I forgot to read the last sentence of that. It said expect more.
Expecting other positives. Yeah, that sounds right. So we'll see.
We will see.
This is so fucking stupid.
The Raiders. The rest of these games, like, they shouldn't have to play some of these games. Raiders, Broncos, 7-7.
Raiders saved their season, Andy. Raiders saved their season.
And they're going to win this game because it's likely Drew Lock in this game. It does not sound very hopeful that Teddy Bridgewater's able to play this game. The Raiders are absolutely in the playoff hunt with 7 wins and getting to play Drew Lock, which is hilarious.
I'm just excited for
Carr was outplayed by Mullins.
I'm just excited for them to be the first team out, Raiders. So that basically this whole thing has been just to get the worst possible draft position and not get into the playoffs without a playoff game. Like that feels about right.
I'm there. I'm with
you. would be just delightful. Yeah. Okay.
If Drew Lock plays, this is a bad spot. Derek Carr looked like shit, but he has a couple nice pieces, and they've made something out of Moreau as a nice backup option. They got the running game going a little bit. They were able to, keep Myles Garrett at bay at touch. He still got in there, forced to fumble because he's an animal, unstoppable.
And he was responsible for the play that caused the pick, but that was probably his last play of the season, which
last play
sucks.
ever. If Waller's in, and it's really, really sounding like a Drew Lock spot. I think if you like the Raiders, you bet them now. I don't think this goes in the opposite direction.
We agree.
Yeah, so I'm probably abstaining, but if you like the Raiders, I would play it before it goes to 3.
Abstaining. Washington football team at the Dallas Cowboys. This is your primetime game, Andy. Primetime. Sunday Night Football.
They expected Fitzpatrick. Or was this flexed?
No, this was the plan all along. We're gonna entertain you with some awesome NFC East drama, guys. We're gonna make all the divisional games in the NFC East. We're gonna make them all the last 3 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks of the season because that makes total sense. Yeah, go ahead.
I just got another news alert.
Oh, please!
A player has been added to the reserved code 19 list. I want you to guess who this player is, keeping in mind that it's funny.
Antonio Brown.
No, close.
That would be good, though, right?
That would be good.
Kyrie Irving is
AFC East. AFC East. It's Irving-esque.
AFC East. Ooh.
Dad.
It's measles. Oh, interesting. It's measly.
It's the measles.
Oh, yeah, Dan spoiled it. I don't know why that took me so long to get there. God damn.
I don't know. Those storylines kind of
I forgot about measles. Yeah.
Those storylines kind of faded as the season went by. But yes, Cole Beasley, and we're having a good little laugh at his expense, I guess. But he's important for this team. He's a really decent option receiving. So that's not.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
Fuck. Well, that's a bummer.
That is a bummer. All right, Washington, Dallas. Dallas, a big old favorite here. Washington hasn't played yet. It's probably getting Heineke back. 10.5's too much. Dallas is kind of like KC in the middle of the season, where it's like, yeah, they're good and they have a lot of potential, but this offense isn't fixed. The quarterback looks a little broken, probably still hurt at this point. So way too many points, and I'm not getting tricked into that again.
Not falling for the banana in the tailpipe again there.
No, not
sir.
getting me
no,
again.
Sir. No, sir. You know what the stupidest part about this being a primetime game is?
All of it, I guess.
They played last week.
Yeah.
You want to know the stupid thing is?
It's like the Browns.
Washington's playing on a Tuesday this week without a quarterback. That they're playing with a quarterback that they just signed from a practice squad. This is stupid.
Heineke will be rested.
Yeah,
I guess nice.
So. That's true. He'll be back. Man, Wyoming can't get out of their own way here. That Wyoming Cowboys
game might go over. Yeah,
stinks. Not so lucky in Genoa. What's up with the?
Oh my god!
You're gonna get the under salami.
Yeah, they're a team that scores late.
Okay, let's cross our fingers. Okay. No take on this. No take on this game. No interest in betting this.
Second half.
I guess let me ask you a question. Have you been? What has been your general gut reaction to a lot of media attention these last 48 hours on Dallas getting it done with defense? What has been your gut reaction to that?
It's overblown. The defense is good. It's not great. I think it's overblown because the defense, it's kind of like what we talked about with Davis Mills compared to Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be the next coming of Christ. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been good, so we make a thing out of that. Davis Mills had no expectations on his shoulders. The teams had even less after having nobody but Brandon Cooks on the roster. Mm-hmm. And he went out there and played. It's not like Davis Mills went and played good. He played better than expected, and expectations drive everything in the human mind.
Yes.
And the fact is the Dallas Cowboys defense has been a rough hang for 2 years. And when they were very, very hurt and they had a massive cluster injury at all three levels, they were more than bad. They were real, real, real bad. I mean, it was a hilarious defense, Raiders-esque. And the fact that it is serviceable now makes it like, oh my God. And the fact that they have a player who's lucked himself into 10 interceptions. And I mean, right or wrong, he's the defensive rookie of the year, and right is right. Like, he's the best defensive rookie probably I've seen for a few years, truthfully.
Oh, yeah.
He's very, very, very good. They have a couple of very good players, but it's a good defense. It's not great. It is, but I mean, there's truth to it because the offense isn't playing up to expectations. The fact that the defense is overperforming and playing better than expectations, that's why it's a storyline, because it's happening.
Yeah, no, that all checks out. The other thing I think is important to point out, there are three major factors beyond expectation that I think are worth pointing out. You ready?
Yes.
Strength of opponent. They've played no one lately.
That's fair.
Turnovers is how they have lived and died. And they have gotten the positive end of the turnover battle. And health. They've been healthy. They haven't had anyone important miss meaningful time for them. And that's a little bit luck as well. So health, turnovers, and opponents all matter as much or more than people. I'm gonna cross stitch that. I'm gonna hang it up, and it's like live, laugh, love. Yeah, there you go. Health, turnovers, opponents. Yeah, that's your defensive. That's your defensive recipe, man. You want a good defense? That's a great recipe to start it. All right. So all that said, Cowboys are. There will be an opportunity to act on that, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe probably not going to be the playoffs though. Not maybe, until the playoffs though. I was going to say maybe week 19, maybe week 20. What's your ideal opponent for the Cowboys to draw in Jerry World wildcard weekend?
Apparently the Genoa defense. Because Christ, they would shut them down. Atlanta's just peppering their ass, driving me up the wall. I'm going to break even on soccer. What a bunch of shit. Ideal opponent to bet against them or on them?
Ideal opponent to take action on what we are talking about, which is that the market right now has overrated Dallas's defense because of the strength of their opponents, because they've been winning the turnover battle, and because they've been healthy.
I mean, the Packers, if they get their shit together, I expected a lot more out of the Packers.
So your ideal opponent for them, round one, is an offense that is not good and goes in there and reinforces all of these beliefs. And then you want them to go to Lambeau and get their absolute bell rung.
Yeah. I think winning this division, being what do we expect them to be? 3 seed?
Yes.
So you'd play the 6?
They could get the 2.
So if they get the 3, they probably play the Niners.
Let me look up my numbers. Hang on.
Playing the Niners would be Niners turn the ball over a couple times. They look like they're still good in Green Bay.
Yeah. I got about a little over 60% that they are the 3 or 4. So it's going to be either the Rams or Niners if the playoffs started today. You know what would suck? You know what would absolutely suck? If the Rams stole the NFC West. If the Rams stole the NFC West, and if the Cardinals lose to the Cowboys week 17, and then it's Cowboys Cardinals again week 19. I absolutely hate when that happens. When the schedule guys
all the time.
I hate
with
it.
The Vikings and Packers. Like
I hate it.
NFC North teams. That happened a couple times where it's like, oh, they play each other again. This is stupid.
It could happen this year.
It can happen to you.
No, I hate it. I really don't want to see Cardinals Cowboys twice in 3 weeks, especially after seeing Cowboys Washington football team twice in 3 weeks. I don't want to see it. I really don't want to see it.
Yeah, I don't want to see any of these games. This has been a bummer week. I am excited. It's fun to have a Tuesday football. It's novel, much not unlike the novel coronavirus. But
Juventus got on the board again. Another goal in Italy.
Their truck.
Not for Atalanta, Genoa.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. They give nothing.
Serie. All right, let's wrap it up. You want to cover some halftimes today? Do some Tuesday night football halftime show?
I have no idea how this is going to work, but I would assume
they'll be about the same time. Let's go live when the first one starts.
The first one starts. I would assume they're going to overlap. If they are so off kilter in pace of play and timeouts and shit that one is over before the other one starts, I would be surprised. So I think there'll be some overlap, which will be perfect. We can talk about the first game, and then the second game will go to overtime, and we'll talk about that game. Or go to halftime, we'll talk about that game. And then when they're both playing again, we can just chop it up, do some overtime shit.
Cool.
Talk drink recipe. I've got a Brandy Alexander recipe I want to share with the world.
Ooh,
I don't have any cognac at home, though. Alexander. I need to go shopping. What kind of cognac should I get?
Oh, does it call for just totally neutral cognac?
So it's just, you're mixing it with cream, Drew. I'm not looking for real good cognac. This is basically Brandy Alexander's basically a fucking milkshake. Let's be honest about what it is.
Cognac, creme de cacao, cream. Ooh.
So creme de cacao, cream, cognac, and then as we've already established, you need to be grating some nutmeg over this sumbitch too.
Oh yeah.
If you are a follower, you should already have your nutmeg
and your microplane.
Microplane.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely correct. I will think of which brandy to recommend. You're not going out and shopping for it now, are you?
No, but I might have to go to the store. My wife's at the store right now, and she just texted me. She says, Are shallots the same as pearl onions?
They're not.
No.
They're definitely not.
It's like turnips and scallions. What are we doing here? Oh my God.
I was thinking more like turnips and rutabagas, but yeah.
That's a good comp. That's a good comp. All right, I'm gonna go with this. See if I can find it. Then they don't have shallots. I'll have to go to the co-op and get the shallots. So, all right.
All right, man. Enjoy. Best of luck.
Yeah. See you guys.
You ever had a rutabaga?
Imagine trying to make a beef Wellington without shallots.
No, you stop right there. Yeah, can't be done.
I don't think she bought the right mushrooms.
Have you ever had a rutabaga?